the second and the third column has been made. And now how to calculate the central or the center measurement of the data with the frequency distribution. The first one is the simplest one. We can see the number of data is the the symbol is n with the total frequency, and you can write that the number of data or n I'm very sorry, I am lost my connection. I will start the screen. Okay. Can you see my screen, my presentation?
Yes, I can see the screen.
Okay, thank you. I will repeat it. I will repeat the from the number of the data. Of course, the number of data or n can be C from the total of frequency. Then the number of data is, of course, is 20. And you can calculate or find the mode first, because the mode is also the simple one to calculate. The mode just the highest frequency from the data, and you can see that the score 8 have the highest frequency from the others. Then the mode is 8. Yeah, 8 has 7 frequency, 7 times appear at the data. So this is the highest one from the others, and then the mode of the data is 8. And you can calculate median because of the total number is 20. Then the median have fall at the 10th data plus the 11th data divided by 2. You can see from the cumulative frequency that the 7 data until the 13 data fall at the 8. Then the 10th data is 8. The 11th data also 8. Then the median will be 8 plus 8 divided by 2. And you can calculate then that the median will be 8. Okay, and the last one from the center of measurement is the mean. You have to add a column here, which is calculate the frequency times the score. I have the symbol here, F times X. At the first row, we have 1 times 4. Then the first row here is 4. And the second row, you have to calculate 0 times 5. Then for the second row here is 0. The third row, you can calculate from the 2 times 6. Then at this cells or row will be 12, and so on. And the last row will be for score 10. You have to calculate 2 times 10. Then for this cell or this row, the last row will be 20 from the 2 times 10. And after that, you have to sum all of this number, all of this value here. Then you got 158. And the mean from the group of data will be a total of F times X divided by N. Then the mean will be 158 divided by 20. Then the mean will be 7.9. I think it is not difficult for you, because for single data, which is presented with a frequency distribution, it is not difficult to calculate. But maybe you have any question, please ask first before I continue for the material later. Is there any question?
No, Ibu, thank you.
Okay. Okay. I want to continue with the frequency distribution, which is presented. Oh, very sorry. I will continue with the variability measurement, variance, and standard of deviation. From these two column, from the standard frequency distribution, this is the score and frequency, and you have to add a column with the mean. Of course, all of row have the same mean, which is 7.9. Then I just write down here just one value, 7.9. Then the following column will be score minus the mean. The score minus the mean. Then for the first row, you can calculate 4 minus 7.9 is minus 3.9. And the second row, 5 minus 7.9 will be minus 2.9. The third row, 6 minus 7.9 will be minus 1.9, and so on. You calculate until the last row. For the score 10, you got 10 minus 7.9 will be 2.1. Okay. Then we add again a column to calculate the score minus mean, and you have to square of from the value. This column will be the square of this column of the left column. From the first row, you calculate the minus 3.9. You have to square it, and you have 15.21 minus the square of minus 2.9 will be 8.41. The square of minus 1.9 will be 3.61, and so on until the last one, the last row. You will calculate the square of 2.1 will be 4.41. Okay, and then you have to add the last column here, which is calculation of frequency times x minus mean square, the square of x minus mean. Then you have to calculate the second column times the fifth column. Okay, the first row will be 1 times 15.21 will be 15.21. The second row will be 0 times 8.41 will be 0. The third row is 2.3 2 times 3.61. Then it will be 7.22. And you have to calculate for the other rows until the last row. This is 2.4, 2 times 4.41 will be 8.82. And then the last calculation is you have to calculate the sum of these values. From the last column, you got 39.8. Okay, then we have the variance will be the total of frequency times the square of x minus mean divided by n minus 1. And then this is equal to 39.8 from the total of frequency times the square of x minus mean divided by n minus 1. The total number n is 20 minus 1 will be 19. Then the variance will be 39.8 divided by 19 is 2.095. This is the variance of the group of data. And of course, the standard of deviation will be the square root of the variance, and is equal to the square root of 2.095, and the result is 1.447. Okay, I think it will be easy when you use software like Excel or maybe another software, maybe Jamovie or SPSS or another software. But you have to know how to calculate manually with the from the single data and build the frequency distribution and produce the center and variability measurement from the distribution frequency distribution. Okay, I think it is also easy, but you have to practice with maybe Excel, because for the large number of data, you maybe have difficulties to calculate one by one. Okay, now we have another different frequency distribution with the score consists of interval data. Yeah, the previous one is a single data with frequency more than one, but for this table frequency distribution, the score presented at the with the interval data. Yeah, the score for the first row is the interval data from 53 to 59. The second row is from 60 to 65, 66, and so on. Okay. From the kind of interval, you have to find the midpoint of the interval. This is built at the second column. Yeah, the second column is the midpoint of the interval, and then you have to find the midpoint between 53 until 59. Yeah, like you can find it like you find the median at the interval. Okay, you have from the interval you have a score of 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59. This interval have 7 points. Then you or 7 scores. Then you have to find the midpoint between this interval. Because of this interval have 7 scores here, then the midpoint or the median of this interval will be 56. Is there any difficult with this number?
No, ma'am.
Okay.
So far, no, ma'am.
Okay. When the interval consists of even number, you have to find the midpoint as the median. You have to sum the middle number at this interval and divide it by 2, like you calculate the median. But because this interval have 7 score, 7 data, then the median or the midpoint will be fall at the 4 data from the 53 to 59. The fourth data will be 56. Also at the second row, we have the midpoint of the interval will be 63. For the interval 67 until 73, we have the midpoint is 70, and so on. And the last row, the interval between 88 until 94, the midpoint is 91. And you this frequency is come from the table that you built before, and the cumulative is the same. And like the calculation for the single data, you have to add a column here, then you calculate the frequency times the scores, and the score is replaced by the midpoint. Then for the first row, you have to calculate 2.56 is equal to 112. And the second row, you have to calculate 3 times 63. Then this is equal to 189. And so on. From the other row will be the same. And the last row will be 5 times 91 will be 455. And the last calculation is you have to sum all the values here from the last column, and you get 1,925. Okay. Then of course the number of data, or n, will be 25. This is the sum of the frequency. The number of data is 25. And maybe it's a little difficult. The mode of the data will be the limit, the lower limit of the class of the mode. Yeah, the lower limit of the class of the mode plus, this is the D1. D1 is the difference between the frequency of the class mode and the previous class mode, divided by D1 plus D2. D2 is the difference frequency between the frequency of the class mode with the following class mode. Okay, with the example, we have see that the highest frequency here is 6. Then the class mode will be here. Yeah, the class mode will be here. I will highlight it with the yellow one. Because of the highest frequency is 6, then the class mode will be at this row, at the yellow one. Then the lower limit of the class of the mode will be 81. Okay. Now you have to write down here the lower limit at the class of the mode, plus the difference, D1 is the difference between the frequency of the class of the mode with the previous class. Then you got the frequency of the class of the mode is 6. The previous class is, the frequency of the previous class is 5. Then the D1 will be 6 minus 5. This is 1 come from 6 minus 5. Okay, the divided by D1 of also 1, of course, and the D2 is the difference between the frequency of the class of the mode with the following class, with the following frequency, with the following frequency from the the following class. Okay. So we write down here 1 because we got this from the 6 minus 5 from the frequency of the class mode with the frequency of the following class. Okay, then the D2 will be 1 times interval. This is interval of the ring of the interval or the width of the interval. From 53 to 59, the interval will be 7. Then we write down here 7. All the interval class is 7. Then of course, it's the same interval width of interval. Then we write down here with 7. Okay, we have to calculate at this equation before we sum with 81. Then we have to calculate 1 divided by 1 plus 1 times 7. It is 3.5. Then we have to sum it by with 81. Then the mode will be 84.5. I hope you know or you have not difficulties with this calculation. Is there any question from calculation of the mode?
No, ma'am, no question.
Okay, thank you. Then the median is equal to the lower limit of the median plus n divided by 2 minus cumulative before median divided by frequency of the median class times interval. You can see the total number is 25. Then the median will be fall at the 12 data plus 13th data divided by 2. From the cumulative column here, you can see that the 11th, the 12 data and the 13 data will be fall at this interval. And so the lower limit of the median class will be 74. I will highlight with maybe the blue one or the pink one. This is the pink one is the class of the median. Okay, then you write down here the lower limit of the median will be 74. Then you calculate n divided by 2. N is 24 divided by 2 minus cumulative before median. This is the median class and the cumulative before median will be 9. Then you write down here 9 divided by frequency of the median. The frequency of the median is 5. Then you write down here 5. Then you have to times this calculation with 7. 7 is the interval, the width of interval class. Okay. Then this calculation is equal to 74 plus 3.5 divided by 5 times 7 is equal to 74 plus 0.7 times 7. Then it will be 74 plus 4.9. Then we have median is 78.9. Okay, I think we can practice it later with another data. And the last one, the mean. The mean is also the same calculation with the table for single data. The mean is total of the total of frequency times score divided by n. The total of frequency times score is 1,925 divided by the total number of data 25. Then 1,925 divided by 25 is 77. Okay, this is the calculation of the center of measurement from group of data or a frequency distribution table. Let's try with calculation of variance and standard of deviation. This the calculation will be the same as the calculation before, but you have to replace the score with the midpoint. Okay. This, the calculation for variance and standard of deviation is the same with the single data, but you have to replace the score, which is present with interval data with the midpoint. I think I give you another about 10 minutes to calculate the variance and the standard of deviation from the from this table. Okay, times is yours to practice the calculation. If you have any question, please ask first before you practice to calculate this.
Hello, Ibu. Assalamualaikum. Yes.
Yeah, Waalaikumsalam, Hen.
Yeah, I was just asking because I tried to check some websites for to be able to practice more before, I mean. So whenever I check any of the sites about statistics, I found that they are, if you want to calculate something, they ask you, is it population or is it sample? So I wouldn't tell the difference. So what's the difference between sample and population? I mean, is sample similar to like single data and population is group of data, or it has no relation?
Oh, okay, Hen. The population is the collection of all the uh, all the observation that you have you want to observe. Maybe the population is the total student at Diponegoro University. Then
Yes.
the sample is the a member of the part of the population. Maybe you can pick 100 students from the Diponegoro University to uh, present or to uh, uh, representation the population, because
Yes.
because you maybe you have difficulties to calculate all the population, then you can cut just a little uh, number, the member of the population as the representation of the population. But it is not, it have not any connection between sample population and the single data and a group of data.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Because actually I have some difficulty trying to calculate it when it is group of data. I got confused. Maybe I need to hear the session from the beginning, the recording of the session. After that, because I'm not good at mathematics, so when it
Oh,
was simple data, it was easier for me. When it turned into group of data, it's kind of hard for me. So maybe I need to yeah, find easy ways to make it easier for me. I mean, so
okay. Uh, 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 when you have single data with a large number of data, maybe you have difficulties to calculate manually, then you have to build a frequency distribution. Frequency distribution is more simple to look the presentation of the data. You have a score with the frequency, the other score with the other frequency. Then for the mean, you have to add, I think maybe I have shared to you again. Yeah, and from the single data here, okay, you build the first one, the first, the second, and the third column to build the frequency distribution. I think it is easy. I will repeat it. I will repeat you how to create it. For score 4, we have just one appears here. Okay, and then the frequency is 1. 5, it doesn't appear here. Then the frequency is 0. 6, 2 times appear.
yes,
Then so
3
on.
times.
Yeah.
Yes,
For the mean, just for the mean, you have to add a column here. Yeah.
yes,
To add a column, the fourth column, which is the times between the score and the frequency. Then the first row is the you have 1 times 4. is 4. The second row will be 0 times 5 will be 0, and so on. Then the mean will be the total number, the total value of frequency times the scores, then the divided by n. Then the mean will be 158 divided by 20. This is the mean. You can check with the mean that you calculated before for the single data. You I think it has to be the same when you calculate with a single data and the mean with present with frequency distribution.
Yes.
Yeah. The more yeah.
No, I'm just saying thank you. Actually, you explained it very well, but it is me who get confused because I'm not good at mathematics or numbers. So I just need to maybe hear the lecture again and then try to apply step by step. It's going to be
Okay.
easy. You already explained it very well. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Han. You have to learn slowly. Maybe try to practice more and more. Then you have expert for statistics.
Yes, inshallah. Actually, Ibu, I'm very worried about the statistics exam. How it's going to be
Oh,
like.
okay. I don't know. The midterm test will be easy for you when I got. I will give you a test.
Yes.
Test. Maybe a, a test at this at the midterm time, or I give you tasks to find maybe a problem at the at your own maybe on your research, and then to present and analysis the your problem and data like the task before, but more complete.
Yes.
You
So
can choose. You all can discuss and choose between real test, real mid test, or just a task. But you have to find real data. Real data. I think maybe from your research or your community or others, then you present it completely, start from the single data, the frequency distribution until the analysis. Please choose what is the easier for you. Or
you would just want to say something. So you're giving us a choice to have an exam, normal one, or to have a task.
yeah, yes,
It would
and
be great if we have a task and good deadline. So even we don't, if we don't understand, we find time um, if you will find time to calculate and be able to set it right, then send it to you. It would be great. And about the data, just want to ask, can we use the data from any research that already used quantitative methods that's been done already and it has the data? um, like for example, I did analysis yesterday, journal review on one of the articles that used quantitative methodology, not qualitative one. So it has a lot of data presented in statistical, um, inferential data. I mean, so can we use journals that already applied statistics, or we can find other data that hasn't been calculated yet? Because it will be very difficult to find it. I don't know how to find those data. I mean, because this is like, or at least if we can find data, how many should be the data? How
Okay.
many should be? Yes, yes.
Okay, Hen. The first one. Uh, I think a week is enough to complete the task. And I don't know when you have to. We have a midterm schedule, or we can. I think we can. Uh, 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 maybe at 22 of April to submit the task. Is it enough for you at 22 April? When I give you task, or you choose to uh, midterm with task, I think you can submit your work at 22 April. Uh, then the is it enough for you? I think it is enough.
Is this for the test means?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
Is
instead
this
of
for the
the
test?
yeah. For the mid test,
Oh yes.
yeah. I give you a choice between the mid test at the schedule on schedule, or uh, you uh, make
get a task. Yes.
make a task, but the data you have to find the real problem about the scope of your research, or maybe from the journal, maybe from the data that you can search from the Google. Yeah. Then maybe at the due date will be at 22 April. Is it enough?
Yes, yes, this is very enough.
Yes, Miss.
Yeah.
More than enough.
That's be
But
great. I mean,
yeah, but we have to make rules, some rules. The first one, the data have to be real data. Yeah, real data. Maybe you can search from the Google, from the statistics center in Indonesia, or the another, or you can search from the reference, maybe journal, but not book, because books maybe of data from books will be generated our simulation data. The second one, you have to calculate and analysis completely. Start from the single data. Maybe you have to build the frequency distribution. Then you have to calculate all the center and measurement value. Then you have to analysis completely. You have to explain what about the data, uh, where you where the data came from, the period maybe, or the country that you have to present the data, and another.
yes.
Yeah.
Ibu, it will.
Yeah.
This is be very good for us if you give us that time. But I just want to ask something. Would you please give us an example later? I mean, for the tasks that you want to do it, like the format that you want us to do it, like just send us any task that has been done the way you wanted us to do it. Then we follow the format, just like
Okay.
this.
Okay.
Yeah, that would be great.
I will send you the format of the tags, uh, the template maybe, or the standard format of the tags.
Yes, thank you so much, and
Yeah.
thank you for giving us so much time.
Okay. Because I think you have another test.
Yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We have a
This task may be difficult for you from searching the data until the analysis. Then you have to spend much time to complete this task.
Yes,
Um,
honestly, I was going to listen to all the lectures again and start taking notes and apply step by step. So now I have time. Alhamdulillah. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you, Hen. I know because some of you maybe have not learned about statistics before. Then
Yes,
yeah, yeah,
never.
yeah. Okay, Hen, I understand.
Thank you.
Okay, yeah. But this time you have to calculate who want to present the calculation about the variance and the standard deviation of this data. Okay, you have to try to practice the calculation, and someone will be present the result. Anisha, you finish your do you finish your calculation?
Still not, Miss.
Okay.
and good afternoon.
Okay, Anisha,
Uh,
you
ma'am,
have start?
honestly, yeah, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What is?
okay. Miss, so honestly, I don't really understand how to calculate it because from our previous meeting with your assistant, we calculated with a single data. And from the previous example you gave us, so in single data, while this is in the interval, so I'm kind of confused how to calculate it, but I would like to give a try.
Okay.
Uh,
Okay.
okay, yeah.
The point is you have to replace the interval with the midpoint. Just it.
Interval with
The interval, you
midpoint.
have to replace the interval with the midpoint of the interval. Then you have to calculate like the single data, but you replace you use the midpoint from the interval. Or maybe you have to share your work, Anisha.
Oh, I'm not sure, Miss. I think it's a mess. So with the meat of the meat with the excuse me, Miss, could you repeat again? We replace
Okay. Yes, Anisha. What's your problem?
so please you apa? I'm sorry, Miss. I mean like could you please repeat what you have said like replace what with the interval, Miss?
Yeah. Maybe I share it again.
Thank you, Miss.
Yeah, the first one, you have the single data. Yeah, the score is just the single data. And the second table, you have score with present with the interval data. Yeah, the point just to replace the interval data with the midpoint of the interval. Then you can calculate like this ways before, like this ways at this first table. Yeah.
Yes, Miss.
The
I
interval is,
understand it now.
yeah, the first interval is from 53 to 59. You have 7 scores here. Then the midpoint from the 53 to 59 is 56. Okay, you got it, Anisha?
Yes, Miss. Yes.
Yeah. The second one, the midpoint between 60 to 66 will be 63. Then you have to uh, replace the calculation from the interval with the midpoint, then do just the ways at this table. Yeah, the ways of the
Yes.
table is the same, just replace the interval with the midpoint. I think it is help to understand.
Yes, it's clear now, Miss.
Yeah.
Thank you, Miss.
Okay, Anisha. Okay, maybe I want to show you the calculation and you can all match your result here. I will show you with the Excel. The first one, I will show you from the table, the first table. I will show you the first table from the single data. This is the score, the frequency, just like the first table at the slideshow before. Then the cumulative frequency. This is the mean. This is the mid point minus mean. Then you have to calculate the very sorry. It is the score minus mean. The score minus mean will be for the first row will be 4 minus 7.9. It is minus 3.9 and so on. Then the following column will be midpoint minus mean, and you have to square it, or the square of the midpoint minus mean. Then for the first row, this is the minus 3.9. You have to square it, or the square of minus 3.9 will be 15.21. Then the last column will be the frequency times the square of the midpoint minus mean, or this is maybe more fit with the score. Okay, then you at the last column you have to sum all the value here. Then you have 39.8, and the variance will be 39.8 divided by the frequency minus 1. Then you got 2.095737, or I fit it by 2.0945 at the slide. Okay, and the standard of deviation is the square root of the variance. Now, the second table will be the same. You have you can see that the presentation or the structure is the same between the first table and the second table, but the second table have the interval. The interval should replace by the midpoint, and the last calculation will be just the same with the first table. Yeah, the score is the midpoint is the same with the score here. The midpoint come from the middle value of the interval. Then you have to calculate just the same with the first table. This is the midpoint. This is the frequency. This is the total of the frequency or total number of data. This is the cumulative frequency. And you have mean from the calculation before is 77. Then you have to calculate midpoint minus mean. This is for the first row. We have 56 minus 77. Then we have minus 21, and the second row is come from 63 minus 77. We have minus 14, and so on. Then the following column is the square of the midpoint minus mean. We have the square of minus 21. It is 441. The second row is the square of the minus 14. It is 196, and so on. And the last one is the square of the 14 will be 196. Then the last column will be this column times to the frequency, or the frequency times the midpoint, the square of the midpoint minus mean. So the at the cell or the first row we have two we have 2 times 441. It is 882. Then the second row, it is come from 3 times 196. It will be 588, and so on. The last one will come. The last one come from 5 times 196 will be 980. Then you have to sum all this value. We get 2,940. Then the variance will be 2,940 divided by 25 minus 1. We have here 122.5, and the standard of deviation is the square root of the variance. Then it is equal to the square root of the 122.5. We get 11.06797. Okay, I think with compare these two tables, we can show the difference between the cumulative, the frequency distribution, which is presented with the single data, and the cumulative distribution, which is presented by interval data. Yeah, the difference just calculate or find the midpoint at this interval, and the result of and the calculation of the rest of the calculation will be the same with the first table. Okay, I hope with present the two tables at the same screen. You have to know, you have to get the difference between the calculation of these two tables. Maybe Han, Anisha, or Nurul, have any question? I will share this Excel at this chat box, and you can see the calculation with the Excel.
Thank you so much, Ivo.
Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.
Is there any question? You have my number, handphone number. You can ask me if you have difficulty with the calculation from the beginning until the end of this presentation or this class. Please feel free to ask me if you have any difficulties.
Thank you so much, Ivo. Thank you.
Yeah.
We will, inshallah. If we have any difficulties, we will just contact you.
Yeah. I want to share this file. Okay. Okay. I think all the material that you have to learn is enough at the first midterm. I hope you can find a lesson from here, and you can use this lesson with or the material to do your work or your research. And again, feel free to ask me if you have any difficulties at your work. Thank you very much. Okay, Hen and the other, thank you very much for the discussion. I hope you can complete the task at the due date or before the due date. Thank you very much. Ya, selamat sore. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Thank you so much, Miss.
Okay,
Thank
you're
you.
welcome. Yeah.
Thank you, ma'am.